Come on. And there we are. Happy Friday, everybody. Anthony, you hooked up to your mic over there, buddy?
Should be.
All right. Happy Friday, everyone. And pull that mic up to yourself, bro. Be a part of the show. Pull that up there. I mean, I'll tell you guys, Anthony's just doing his own thing over there. But happy Friday, everybody. We're now live across everywhere. It's your first time joining the show. We've had a little bit more play on YouTube. Not many people tuning in yet on YouTube on the full version yet, Anthony.
Nice.
But more than 2 or 3. All right. We're getting a few, everybody. If you've watched our short form content and you've been able to come over and take a look at some of our long form stuff here, I do want to remind you that myself and Anthony behind the cameras become a part of the show. We do this all live. Nothing here is scripted per se. We don't have a teleprompter and we don't edit anything after the fact. So we just put it up there for you just as we think about things, just as we say them. We try to do this every day to try to bring you some of the most unique news that we're able to find, stuff that you actually care about within your week. And I think we've done another great job of that here today. We love our Friday episodes. We try to keep them a lot of fun here for you. So if you're in the car, sit back, relax, and enjoy a little bit of the show, learning about the news that I'm sure you're going to want to know about, and that'll make you the smartest guy in the office. We've got 6 great topics here for you today that we're going to be rolling through, everybody. Just so that you're aware, we're going to be starting off the show talking about Gen Z turning back to the trades. Actually turning back to the jobs that build this country. We're going to jump all over the place. Believe me, we're going to jump into Kris Jenner next and the photoshopped Kris Jenner photos that have been exposed. I'm going to jump into one of the guys that a lot of you in business know, Alex Hormozi. What is going on with Hormozi and YouTube? A lot of people in the business world are talking about the interview that has been removed. We're going to give you the full story right here. Drake is dropping a new album today. We're going to be talking about what's on that. We have got a dating pandemic, epidemic, whatever you want to call it, is not a good thing in this country. And we'll be discussing why men and women are so far apart when it comes to dating. And then we're going to end today, everybody, with an amazing story out of Florida. Some young men saving a gentleman's life. And you know what? For once, cell phone videos and all the normal trimmings that go with normally one of these stories were not a part of it. It actually is people just doing the right thing by one another. And that is why that's going to be a story worth covering at the end of our show today. My name is Patrick Carr. We've got Anthony, as I said, behind the cameras who puts this all together for us. And we're going to be jumping in now to our first story. We have been talking about this week, but this is good news, everyone. Gen Z men are flooding to the trades in record numbers. A recent study of 1,250 Gen Zers just dropped yesterday, and 6 out of 10 of them are planning to pursue a career in construction, electrical, HVAC, plumbing, and manufacturing. Folks, that is 6 out of 10. 1 year ago, that number was 4 out of 10. It has been a generational shift in only 12 months. Why? I think it's very clear. Okay, when they did this survey, very interesting numbers. 47% say blue-collar workers offer better long-term security. 80% say the reason is because the job cannot be replaced by AI. College kids are watching ChatGPT eat away at their internships and their opportunities. And if you think it's just GPT, you're crazy. It's Claude and other AI programs that are doing the same. And so what Gen Z men are saying right now, Gen Z women as well, is they are saying, no. You know what? I see the direction that things are going right now. I see the people and millennials who went to college and are constantly telling me it is useless. I see my mother and father who are 40 or something like that. I see what they're doing. They're 45, whatever. I see that they're not using their college degree. I see what debt they always talk about. They didn't get anything out of this college thing. I'm going to be the person who says, nope, I'm going to go into the trades. I'm going to learn how to roof, going to learn how to be a plumber, going to learn how to fix that AC unit that's out there. And we're seeing a shift right now in how people are approaching the job market. And so I'm here to tell you right now, Gen Z might not be broken after all, everyone. I mean, Gen Z might be figuring this thing out at a level that the millennials like me, we missed it. We were still so caught up, weren't we, in the fact that you have to go to college. got to get that 4-year liberal arts degree in business, marketing, and finance, whatever you did. And somehow that was going to teach you how to be a better entrepreneur. I see these numbers and I'm encouraged for the first time this week because lately, Anthony, it seems like all we're doing is talking about the layoffs that have been happening across the country from tech companies like Meta, tech companies like Cloudflare and Oracle, hundreds of thousands of jobs being lost. And it makes me wonder what a lot of these young men and women are thinking when they're in college right now. They're looking at these jobs like marketing. If you're a marketing major right now, UCF, and you can see right online that Claude is doing plugins with Meta advertising. Do you not think it's going to be another year before that stuff is taking over how we traditionally look at marketing? Your degree becomes less and less valuable while these trades, like getting your AC fixed in Florida at 2 p.m. when it goes down in your office, like ours is done here, that becomes more valuable than ever. And young men and women are figuring this out right now, and it's a beautiful thing for us to be able to see here.
Yeah, I definitely think too. With obviously with AI, everyone's changing their whole job market, and I think now with college has just gotten so expensive now. Where 30 years ago, it wasn't as crazy as it is now with like all these student loans and all this debt that you acquire. And now with the internet, you can look up, research anything, so you can do basically anything. So college really just needs to change right now if they want to survive and be different now, but they're not really adapting to the market now. And I feel like in 20 years, no one's going to be going to college anymore, maybe even sooner than that. But
I agree with you. Colleges and universities are doing a poor job of adapting to how quickly the information is readily available for students. Mm-hmm. Can you hear him on the mic? I swear. Folks, I'll tell you what, we have, if y'all don't know this, I'll take a break. Well, yeah. So come here. No, you got to make sure you're a star. You're a star. Can we see him? Hold on. This right here is what is snoring down below me right here, everyone. Hello, my name's Griffin. Okay, this is why we had to take you out of the cage. He comes here. He's the okay. He's a little camera shy, but he comes here to the office to be the emotional support animal for Anthony behind the scenes. But he snores sitting right down here, everyone. So I've got to take him out of the cage right now, or all he's going to do is snore for us the rest of the time. So sorry about that. But one of the things that strikes me, Anthony, is that, individuals like now, he just wants to drink water. You just let us know when we can continue the show, bro. You just do whatever you got to do. Your world.
He's chilling.
If you're just joining us, my Frenchie has decided that he is going to drink a gallon of water, is what it seems like. He was snoring up a storm. Now he just has decided that he's going to drink an entire lake. Like he hasn't gotten water in an hour. Just whenever you're ready, Bar.
Still going.
He's still at it. Chug. Griffey, come on, bud. Okay, we're good. Okay, good. Yeah, okay. Showtime. Okay, showtime. All right. So one of the things I want to say, though, Anthony, is this about when it comes. Can't make this stuff up, folks.
Drinks more water than me.
Okay, I know. He just literally got here an hour and is drinking water then. All right. So sorry about that. But one of the things, Anthony, that I noticed is that with Gen Z for the last, 10 years or somewhere around in there, a lot of millennials have said it's a soft generation. In reality, though, I really believe that what's happened, you don't need me. God, we got people coming in everywhere here. What's happened is that when it comes to millennials, we tend to look at Gen Z as being soft because I think that for a while there, we've considered Gen Z to be much more in touch with their emotions. All right. They understand emotions maybe a little bit better. They're willing to express them in a different way. When I think that a lot of millennials have been taught in their life to simply just kind of push that stuff down. But what we're seeing right now from Gen Z is a reversion back to probably where we had baby boomers, even the boomers generation, resorting back to the trades, which right now are more relevant than ever. I've said it before that if I could do it all over again, there's not a way in the world that I would go to college. I would not have gone to UF to get a degree. Why would I do that? There's zero reason in the world to go to UF to get a 4-year degree in business. Everything that I could learn from UF, I can go into YouTube right now and get probably a 10 times better education from there than I'm going to get from a professor in a classroom on macroeconomics. And universities are not adjusting. And young men are looking at this and they are saying, no, I'm going to go start a plumbing business. I'm going to go start a business that, is a landscaping. I'm going to learn a craft and I'm going to become good at it. And we've said it before on the show that the reason that is so powerful is because it gives men an opportunity to get up in the morning and have something purpose with their day to go out there and to accomplish something that's worth accomplishing. It gives you something to aim higher for. And in my opinion, that's a really beautiful thing.
Definitely.
Yeah, we talk, Lord knows we've been watching some YouTube videos today about that. Yeah. So very excited. I want to back up, though. I do want to say one thing about this, Anthony, because I want to make sure if we do clip this, that this study is for men. So this new a new survey has just dropped. It was 1,250 Gen Z men that say 6 out of 10 are planning to pursue careers in construction, electrical, HVAC, plumbing, and manufacturing. Great news for the job market ahead. I love where this is heading, especially when we're seeing the layoffs we are within the tech industry. All right, this next story, you know of us on a Friday, we're switching things up, all right? We're taking it over to Kris Jenner. That's right. Part of the, what are the Kardashians or whatever family? So which one is this? I don't even know. Which one is Kris Jenner?
Is that the mom? I think that's the mom.
It's the mom. Okay. So this is a difficult story for me, okay? This was given to me by somebody else, all right? So let's talk about this. If you have not heard, Kris Jenner spent a reported $100,000 on a facelift, and then she photoshopped herself. Now, why does that matter? Doesn't everybody do that? Yes. But there has been some doctor takedowns that have been brutal. Quote, Photoshop has ruined reality. Even the best surgical work can't compete with aggressive filtering. What the translation of that means, the face that Kris Jenner is attempting to sell to the world doesn't exist, and this is according to some of the best plastic surgeons in the world. Even after the surgery, even with the best doctors in the world, she still had to put the filters on, the Photoshops on to fake the look. I'll tell you, folks, why does this one matter? Why am I talking about Kris Jenner? Not that I'm a big fan of the entire show, people, family, just not my style. Because what it does is it speaks to a bigger issue that we have in this country, and that is a perceived level of perfection from movie stars, Instagram people, influencers. And when you peel back the curtain, I'm here to tell you one thing. We all are dealing with a vice and something inside of us that we tell nobody about. An insecurity, a thing that would make us seem imperfect. And whatever that thing is, we probably struggle with it internally, and we're trying to cover it up. And the biggest stars among us are the ones that feel that way. Yeah. And when I look at this, I'm going to bring this home. I'm going to say something people aren't going to like. You know who the biggest offender of this, in my opinion, is? The Rock. Oh, yeah, everybody loves The Rock, don't they? The Rock is the biggest one who needs to be exposed in this. I know you're thinking, where are you going with this, Patrick, right? Okay. How old is The Rock, Anthony? Look it up for me, please, sir.
Can I make a guess before?
Take a guess. I'm going 63.
63, really?
How do you think he is? What are you going with?
I was going to say maybe like 50.
Roll with it.
54.
Okay, so you're close. 54. Okay. You seen the way The Rock looks at 54?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that's from drinking what kind of tequila does he drink? The Wanamana tequila?
The Moana
Moana tequila. What is it called? Terramana.
Okay, yeah.
Terramana. You think it's from drinking Terramana tequila and drinking, I don't know, protein shakes and eating good? No. And it's a fraud. And you know what? Yeah, it pisses me off. Because, this like the Kris Jenner thing, why doesn't someone stand up and ask the question, hey, excuse me, Kris Jenner, have you had any plastic surgery done on your face? Because 12-year-olds out there are thinking that they can attain a look like you have. And we like to know what you think about that. Hey, Rock. Hey, Dwayne. Since nobody has asked you in all your interviews, probably because you prevent them from asking, do you do anabolic steroids? And do you believe that might be misleading to young men who are attempting to look like you in Fast and the Furious? And do you think an average 55-year-old can look like you, or any 55-year-old can look like you? And why won't you ever answer those questions? Why don't you allow interviewers to ask those questions? And it pisses me off. Because what you have is you have people that are looking at these individuals and going, these looks, this body, this persona is realistic in order for somebody to have. But then nobody in the press has the guts to ask the real question. Hey, Dwayne, ever taken anabolic steroids? And what advice would you have for somebody who's considering it? Nobody. Crickets. Anyone? Bueller? Nope. But meanwhile, what happens is when I see a story like Kris Jenner, yeah, it's great. Really, it's no one ever has a problem exposing that one. But why don't we talk about the other side, like The Rock, like these people in pro wrestling? When is someone going to talk about the body dysmorphia that men have as well when they are looking at individuals like this and going, I can look like that. I just have to go to the gym and drink my Terramana tequila on the weekends, and I'm going to look that way. When are we going to talk about what the world, like the sport of bodybuilding, has done to men? I remember growing up looking at these guys on stage. It was on ESPN at that time. Ronnie Coleman, like stepping on stage and Saturday afternoon. I remember watching it on an ESPN show. And I thought, man, guys can look like that? Whoa. No, you can't. Not without anabolic steroids. And so my question is, when I see this, everybody should be held to the same standard. All right. And if you're going to go get a facelift, I got no problem with it. I got no problem with somebody taking, whatever it is to help them in their life to be better. Okay. But don't go around telling people that it's moisturizers and, over-the-counter pills and a great diet and genetics that is doing it for you. Be real about it. And then and if you're not a moron, you understand how this happens, folks. What happens in the world of media is that there are questions for people that are put off limits. All right. There's a reason that Kris Jenner won't be asked about that. There's a reason that The Rock will not be asked about that. And the reason is because the people beforehand are prepping these interviewers with questions that are acceptable and not acceptable to ask these people.
Yeah. And then they if they do end up asking these questions, obviously most of them are edited or but if they're a live content or anything like that, they'll most likely be just blacklisted and just never get another interview ever again.
So you think about that. If you're an interviewer and you're going out there and you've got your big break, you're going to interview The Rock and Kevin Hart for the new Jumanji movie. Are you going to ask them? Are you going to ask him right there about that stuff?
No.
To try to get your moment? No, because then your career is done in that industry, which you probably worked 10 years to get to that point to do that interview. So you're going to play the safe route and you're going to ask the question that you're supposed to, and then you're going to walk out of the room. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, though, what happens is difficult questions don't get asked of people. And when you have people like this that are out there, I continue to say that it revolves around parents to get involved and to say, hey, babe, no, that ain't perfection right there. That's not what we're going for. Mm-hmm. I wish that I'm so happy I didn't have things like Instagram when I was a kid. Man, it would have screwed me up in the head, Anthony. To see what people are aiming for. I've gotten a chance in this media world, and I surely have in the last 3 years, to sit down with people that have an online personality and then to see who they are behind closed doors. Mm-hmm. I don't know who needs to hear this. It ain't the same person, folks. I promise you, I've sat down with people that you may follow and you think are more holy than thou, more holistic than thou. They are living, a godly lifestyle, and they're preaching to you about how to be optimal and whatever else. There's all sorts of examples of this across the country right now. And then when the cameras turn off, it ain't that way. So stop comparing yourself to these individuals like this, to an individual who has to get $100,000 worth of plastic surgery and then Photoshop the photos after that because they still can't look in the mirror and be happy with what they see and say, this is what I want to show the world. I'm here to tell you, life, the joy that you're going to get is not going to be in the moment where you look in the mirror and you achieve some look. Because I promise you, what will soon happen afterwards is you will look in that mirror a split second later, and you'll find one more thing that you have to fix. Because what that is it's temporary. It's not joy, it's happiness. And happiness is fleeting. Because as soon as you get it, it's the quid pro quo. There's more happiness you need to get around the corner. The car that you get, you need a better car. Once you get the better car, you need a boat. Once you got the boat, you need a yacht. And what do you know? You're never happy. Joy is in the pursuit of something that is meaningful. That is what we're missing right now. And we miss it because individuals like this, Anthony, are the people that are putting out an image of what beauty is while we miss what the true purpose of life is for people. And we get unhappy and we want to know, why are we not happy? Well, listen, there's some of the most meaningful and joyful times in my life. I wasn't happy all the time. But if all the goal is to look in some way like Kris Jenner over here or have a body like The Rock, you're going to live an extremely unhappy life. And I don't want to see that for anyone.
Yeah, I definitely think it's just sad with a lot of these like influencers have a lot of like following, so
Yeah,
it's just a big, obviously we're the influencer name, they just influence all these young generation, and it's just sad because like you see this image and you're like, oh, this person, look how great they look at, I don't know how old Kris Jenner is, I think, let me look too, but they're just like, oh, I want to be like her when I'm that age, and thinking how good she looks, but it's like all of it is all makeup, all plastic surgery, and
then now photoshopped.
And then on top of that too,
it's an unrealistic look to be able to achieve. It's not. What do you got?
I just found out how old she is.
How old?
Can you guess? If you have to guess.
71.
Okay, you go.
70. 70?
Yeah.
There you go.
Crazy.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just caution people, especially men who are my age. I'm 39 years old, everybody. And so I've probably grown up a little bit more with The Rock than somebody who's like maybe 20, okay, 24. But when you're my age and I'm telling you, you're looking at this guy, it's not an obtainable look at 50, 55, 60. It's not. All right. And we need to just openly say that and not let people just get away with thinking, okay, I'm going to go do a cheat meal of things like pancakes and work out every day. And, I'm going to grow that size. Sure, there's some genetics that are involved, but we also need to be real about everything and be real about the look that we're going for. I want to change topics right here. This one has affected me and Anthony this morning. We went down the rabbit hole, I will admit, of watching a crap ton of Alex Hormozi videos. I think I've made Anthony a fan of Alex Hormozi over here.
I didn't even know who he was.
I can't believe that. Come on, man. Anthony's a little younger, guys. All right. So, but the story today, if you have not heard, the last couple of days, there's been a lot of buzz around Alex Hormozi deleting his podcast with no other than Tony Robbins. He's the biggest name in personal development, obviously, in history. The interview wasn't just good, everyone. It was fantastic. It was released back in January, and it got millions upon millions of views. But this week, the video disappeared. It is no longer on Alex Hormozi's page, and fans are wondering what the heck happened here. Now, I'm here to tell you this. He is playing chess and everybody is playing checkers. So let me explain. This interview was the first opportunity that many fans had the chance to see Alex Hormozi peel back a little bit and show some emotional side of him. You saw what was supposed to be an interview with Tony Robbins turn into Tony Robbins dissecting and peeling back the onion of Alex Hormozi. You saw an emotional realness to him and a vulnerability that was never seen before. And in the course of it, people like me began to like Alex Hormozi. And so when I heard this, I didn't like him before. Let me be clear. I liked him before, but you saw a different side of him that you went, okay, this guy is struggling with some things too. But it's definitely not the normal Alex Hormozi that you see from Gym Launch or acquisition.com. And so when I heard this story, we wanted to take a little bit of a few days to kind of dissect this one a little bit. And we've come up with the opinion of this. Our prediction on this show is very clear. Alex Hormozi is taking this thing down. And now all over the internet, what you're seeing is Alex Hormozi was insecure, didn't want to be seen as a vulnerable person. He took down the interview with Tony Robbins after millions of views. And what he's doing is what he always does. Play a brilliant marketing move by removing the video temporarily, having people talk about the video, and then within the next few days, he will re-release the podcast, turning it from unlisted back to public. It will hit the ground running after people talk about it for about last week. And millions upon millions of more views and comments and commentary will pour in around this podcast like it is brand new. The man is a brilliant marketer. I don't think that he cares, everybody, that he was a little bit vulnerable in his interview with Tony Robbins. This is an amazing marketing move and should be a lesson to everyone. How to reuse content in order to make it relevant again. So what he's doing is he's building up the anticipation. People are, oh man, he's insecure. This guy is, he can't stand to be criticized. He always has to be in control of the conversation. He doesn't have it in him to take this kind of criticism about who he is as a person, blah, blah, blah. Re-releases it. People go watch it millions of more times. He makes a lot more money. It becomes a lead source for him. It comes top of funnel. He retargets off of the video views right there and gets millions of more people into his funnel so that he can make them a part of acquisition.com and make money. He's playing chess. Everyone else is playing checkers. Typical Alex Hormozi move. Watch for the drop in the next 3 days.
Honestly, though, I could see him even not posting it again. But the reason why is that we were looking to find that podcast. And we're like, we got to find it. We got to find this video so I could see it. And so him probably not posting is like building traction of like, oh, people want to see him try to find this video. So yeah, they're going to like try to look and find like a whole deep dive on Alex Hormozi.
Weird example that you didn't know who he was. No. Now you know exactly who Alex Hormozi is, following him. You know what I mean? Now when you see his stuff in the future, you're going to know exactly who it is.
Exactly.
So you're a great example of this. I like Alex Hormozi. I loved the interview. And here I am falling right into his marketing trap, talking about it on our show. We'll make a short about it. That short will get 10,000 views. And some of those people will go over to Hormozi's page and start watching his content. And you're welcome, Alex, for bringing you in another client. Send me over some kind of referral fee once you hear about him from the Patrick Carr Show. It's going to be amazing. The guy is a brilliant marketer, continues to surprise in what he does. He is always ahead of the curve in how he uses content to bring people into his funnel. Very happy to see what he's doing right now. It just should be a lesson to everybody and how to market in today's world with content to keep yourself relevant all the time. Next story is one, man, I'm gonna get through. But brother, I ain't know a lot about this one. I do not. All right. This is not my wheelhouse. Okay, Anthony. But I think it's worth mentioning. Everybody, if you're not familiar, Drake is dropping Iceman today. All right. And he's coming off his new album. It's coming out tonight. It is the first full project since Kendrick Lamar demolished him last year. Now that's a little bit much, but there is a leaked track that shows him taking some swings at LeBron James. The line that people are talking about is, quote, "I shouldn't even be shocked to see you in that arena because you always made your career off switching teams up. This comes after. Drake considers LeBron to be a sellout after losing the biggest beef in hip-hop history and dropping a $200,000 bet on Jake Paul. Well, I guess it's time for Drake to try to make himself relevant again. And this is his response. I don't really see a lot of beef here. If you want to know the truth, like we looked for like what is going on here. It appears to me that what we have is we have somebody that is trying to use the name of a big athlete in order to generate album sales that probably seem lackluster right now. And I think that, you know, what he has done, some of the beginning, I mean, started from the bottom, like that whole time with Drake, an amazing time with his music. Since then, guy's not been exactly on a winning streak, I would say. I think that Lamar got the best of him. I think everybody recognizes that. He puts this $200,000 bet, Jake Paul, to beat Anthony Joshua. What is he dropping 200,000 betting? Oh yeah, he bet on that fight and he lost $200,000. I think he's grasping for things here. This seems desperate to me, Anthony. LeBron James, I mean, listen, let's all be honest, okay? If there was some bad shit to come out about LeBron James, it would have already happened. That man has been dissected since he was 16 years old. I may not think he's the best of all time, but if you want to talk about a guy who has lived up to every bit of hype in his entire life, and the guy has played in cities where Lord knows he could have got himself in some trouble. I mean, I remember thinking that when he was going to go from Cleveland to Miami. And I was thinking, oh boy, this could be the end of this guy. You've been down to Miami, LeBron. You've seen what's down there on those beaches. You've seen what's in those clubs. It's a little bit different than Cleveland, Ohio. All right. And I remember thinking to myself, like, he going to be able to make it? Then he goes out to LA. He makes it out there. The guy literally has gone to some of the places that if you were going to get distracted and you were going to have stories come out about you, Miami and LA, come on. Right. And so when I think about this from Drake, I think, what are you going to tell us, bro? Why the guy was loyal to you, but then he wasn't loyal to you? I'm trying to figure out what exactly you're going for here, except to have shows like ours and maybe other news outlets pick up that there's something about LeBron that you don't like, and therefore people need to go, get the album. But the long and short of it, Drake's dropping his new album tonight. It's his first project, sits Kendrick Lamar in the debacle right there. The man has not exactly been on a winning streak, and now he is picking up this beef with LeBron James. And in my opinion, wrong beef to pick up, bro. I think it screams desperate individual to sell, knows that this is not going to go well for him in the next 24 hours. Could be another big embarrassment for what once was the biggest star in the world, arguably 5 years ago. So very interested to see this one. Liked his old music. Haven't liked the guy in a lot of his stuff since. I think he seems to me to be an individual that, and this is nothing to knock him, I can't say I want to be the same way, that as he's seen a lot of success, I think his ability to relate to his audience has gone down. And he's become more of a star and less of a musician. And I think that can happen to anybody. Look at the best boxers in the world, Conor McGregor, right? Yeah, when you're coming up, you're hungry, man. Like you're out there. You're identifying with your audience. They see something in you they like, that hunger, that mentality. Man, you give somebody $100 million, you ain't as hungry anymore. You're not identifying with your audience. Your problems, the things that you're talking about are not things that they can relate to. And you better make sure that you don't lose track of who your audience is.
You stopped becoming relatable. Like a lot of these, like kind of going back to that Kris Jenner too, and it just stopped being relatable.
Yeah, I mean, started from the bottom. Now we're here. I mean, I remember I was like, you started from the bottom. Man, I was like, yeah, that was it, man, for me. That whole era of Drake right there. That's when I was like, okay, this guy, he's hitting on all cylinders right now.
I think he just wants to beef with LeBron right now, because if he beats with another rapper, he's done for. He's like, I can't.
Good point.
He's like, LeBron can't rap about me, so.
Good point. It's like, hey, listen, let me go after somebody that's not even in my same arena. Good point, man. I think that's really true. And yeah, well, we'll see what happens with the album sales. I bet we'll have some album sales by Monday. See what kind of sales that Drake had. My prediction right now is that it bombs.
I think he'll do good because everyone wants to hear it, but I don't know. I think the score might not be good. So like I think everyone wants to hear it, but then when they hear it, they're just not gonna be like, oh, this is it's not the same Drake.
It's gonna be,
it'll just start being a slow decline after.
Underwhelming is what it's gonna be. It's not gonna take off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can see it. Let's see what happens. We'll take a look at that. We'll make a note of that one. And take a look at the sales next week on the show. We're going to go out to fifth, and with 5 out of 6. It's our fifth topic of the day right here. And this one's an interesting one, everyone. I'm here to tell you, the dating recession, it's real. Reports just dropped interviewing 5,000 young adults. Get these numbers, everyone. Only 30% are dating at all. Nearly 2/3 of men haven't been on a date in the last year. Only 21% are satisfied with their options. Okay. 90% of young people in this survey say that situationships are normal. For Gen Z women, that number, 99%. And 68% of all singles say dating apps have made commitment harder and not easier. 50% of Gen Z men are still optimistic about dating, the highest of any group that there is. Only 39% of millennial women feel the same way, the lowest of any group. What we are seeing, everyone, is a shift, a big shift in how people date and how they look at the future of relationships. One of the numbers that jumped out to me, the lowest optimism is among women who are, let's say, 30 to 50, somewhere around there, millennial women, somewhere around. So 30 to 50 about. They're the lowest optimism of any group that is out there. Why? I got a theory about this. I'll run through. Okay. I believe that millennial women have seen the worst in relationships from the time that they were born. I'll explain. During the time when millennial women are coming of age, the divorce rate in this country is skyrocketing. So you're seeing homes that are not put together. Mom and dad are splitting up. At that time, the television that you're watching is giving an unrealistic expectation of what relationships should even be. 90s sitcoms, early 2000s shows. You're coming of age when you have things like Bachelor and Bachelorette that are just coming into being something. You're learning what a relationship should be through this crap television. And then you get into adulthood and you're dealing with millennial men who, for the most part, are coming from homes where they don't understand how to be a man. And then you're getting your heart broken because at the same exact time you're coming of age, dating apps are becoming more prevalent than ever for millennial men, giving them more options and leaving women holding the bag. So millennial women, from the time they have been brought up through today, have gotten the worst that there is in men. No wonder they don't feel optimistic about the future. Because every time they're seeing something, it's like the rug gets pulled out from underneath them. Meanwhile, when I see that 50% of Gen Z men, they're the most optimistic, I think about, because we're seeing a reversion back to the religion that we've talked about on this show. Mm-hmm. I think these men are looking for traditional values and they're optimistic. They're going to find a woman that they can settle down with. And they're like, this means something to me. And therefore, they're like, hey, I have a plan for my life and I know I'm going to be able to find somebody. The way of dating has completely shifted based on how old you are. In the dating world, I would also say that, millennial women have been hurt the most. And because of that, you've got a lot of pain involved in the dating world there. And I think that pain probably presents itself as a lot of insecurities, a lot of worry, a lot of red flags that are out there right now. And I feel for that group because, like I said, this is a group that has been hurt more than any other.
Yeah, I definitely think yeah, it's definitely interesting now with like dating apps because I think it just like because before you would see someone, you would get to know them before you even saw a picture of them or like saw any of this and knew anything about them. And so now we're just kind of with these dating apps now, I feel like we're just kind of seeing everyone almost like the cover of a book. We're not seeing the real person that we're seeing. And so I feel like there's a swiping right, be like, I don't like this person, I don't like this person, like just from looks perspective, rather than who they are as a person. Because maybe that personality is like a perfect match for you. And maybe there's one thing you don't like about the looks, but you know what? That personality is just key to everything. But with these dating apps, you don't see that personality, you just see the looks. So you're like, oh, that person doesn't have this look, but this other person does, but they have zero personality that we have in common.
You mean there might be something more to a relationship than just superficial looks, Anthony?
Yeah.
What? Holy, come on. Breaking news here on the Patrick Carr Show. You know, you're in a happy relationship. I know how much you love your significant other, and you know, you talk so highly of her. What do you think it is, man? You know, you're a young man. You speak very well. You're successful. You do all this stuff, right? You have options. Why do you choose the woman that you're with?
She makes me happy. Like just literally like we could see each other for the whole day. We have the whole time together just talking, but we'll always have a conversation to talk about. And it's just and even when we don't, it's like those awkward silences. It just feels peaceful. I just don't know how to else put it, but
yeah, man, I'm really happy for you. One of the things I've always enjoyed about you is, you know, your love for her and talking to you, because it never wavers, you know. One of the things I can't stand is that if I ever go out with like a buddy and then he talks crap about like his significant other, like, what are you doing, man? Don't do that. Right. You know, I've had my heartache, I've had my problems in my life, my heartache, my mistakes, my difficulties I've been even recently working through. But with you, I mean, I appreciate that. You know, you always are so complimentary of her and in your relationship, and that never falters. And it's a beautiful thing. You know, when it comes to dating apps, man, and I believe that is a big reason why we're seeing this dating recession in this country, and we're seeing a recession from traditional relationships, because the options that people have available to them. You no longer have to go to the bar in order to find somebody new to talk with or to hang out. You can sit there on your phone and 4 different apps that you can download, and you can find somebody to go find a situationship with if you want. And you don't have to be model good looks. I mean, if you can string together a few sentences and you have a few pictures, you can find somebody that is in the same, looking for the same thing that you might be. And it masks the real problem that we have. And I think part of that problem is, well, I'll first start with the dating app side. The problem with dating apps, everybody, is that if they worked, they would put themselves out of business. Match.com was one of the first ones to come out with, you know, their match quiz, and they were going to match you based on, you know, who you should be with and their score that you could be matched with. If the score worked, then everybody would find their right person, and then Match.com would have no other clients, then Match.com would have no other customers. So it doesn't work. I mean, even Hinge caught on to that, and they came out with that designed to be deleted was their slogan over on Hinge. Okay. Anyone else see that, you know, they have their membership going down? No, because it's not designed to be deleted. It's designed for dopamine hits. It's designed to give you instant satisfaction, not to go find something that's going to be meaningful in your life. And I'm not saying there's not a place for it. Of course there is. There's so many beautiful stories about people finding their significant other, their wife or husband on one of these dating apps that there are. But to ignore the other side of it and what it is doing to our country right now and what it is doing to the dating world would be foolish. Because if you, I'm gonna tell you, I believe this in my heart that when I see stuff like this, like 90% of young people say situationships, meaning that they're in for something physical, everybody, are normal. The reason for that is because both sides of the relationship have taken an understanding that there are so many other options that are available to them that they just assume that the situationship is going to be what it is. They don't even assume that the relationship is what's going to come out of it.
Yeah, I definitely think too. And I just think that sounds kind of cheesy, but I feel like we kind of lost the art of like the pickup line at like you go to a bar and then like you try to hit on someone, they're like, oh no, but like you don't see that anymore where someone finds someone at a bar or just out somewhere. You don't see that. You
So
either
true.
see them on a dating app or find that. But when someone does try to do it, they don't know how
Yeah.
to engage. We just lost that art.
It is. You're right. It's taken away the, how would I put it, that anxiety of no, like that you're going to get turned down. And I think that people are looking to this stuff because it's a safe bet. I don't have to worry. Well, if I swiped right and she didn't, she must have just never seen me. No, she saw you. She just didn't like you, buddy. But it makes you feel better about yourself. And it's a dopamine hit. But you know, I'm not out here looking for relationships or in the dating world right now. But what I would say is if you're a guy and you want a relationship right now, here's my advice. Go take a chance on yourself. There's probably somebody this week that you're going to see that you're like, I would love to go on a date with that gal. Maybe it's at the gym. Go on. What's that? Just live right now. Can I tell you afterwards? Can I talk to you afterwards or?
Yeah, I wouldn't interrupt. I got to cycle the internet.
Oh, we got to cycle it?
I got to flop the router for the modem.
Okay, well, we'll end it right there then.
8 minutes.
Oh, okay, no problem. We'll end it right here.
Okay, great. Now I'm downloading at like 23. It's fucking hard.
Okay. Well, we'll end the show there then. No, you can't even breathe. So in that case, we'll have to end the show right there for now. But this story is an interesting one, and I believe that what we're going to see is much of the same continue in the months and the years to come, unfortunately. We will see you all next time here on the Patrick Carr Show as our internet in the building needs to be switched off.
It's live. Everyone.
Let's live. There we go. I just end it like that.